Okay, part two of getting through cancer treatment, talking about the fatigue. The fatigue is real. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I am stubborn and I try to be an independent woman. I hate to ask for help. I don't like to bother other people if at all possible. But something I have learned is you need to speak up and be very specific. Simply saying, I am tired, is not enough. Save yourself a lot of frustration or anger or miscommunication by being specific. They, as in those around you, have no idea how tired you are when you just simply say, I'm tired, because they're not going through the treatment. They may see you nap a lot, but they don't know what I'm tired means. So if you need help, speak up. That sink full of dirty dishes may be obvious to you, but to the rest of your family, they're oblivious. It doesn't bother them. They don't see it as urgent. Don't just say, I'm tired, and expect things to get done. Be specific. Let them know this needs to be done, please. Which leads me to let family and friends help. As I said, I'm stubborn. Your very first chemo, you'll want a driver if at all possible. You don't know how the pre-meds or the chemo will affect you. A lot of times the meds that they give you to prevent nausea can make you drowsy. So you don't really want to be driving. My husband took me to my first one, and then my parents and hubby kind of traded off so that my husband didn't have to take every single chemo day off, which worked out great. And I'm so appreciative to have such a supportive family. But part of me wanted to be the independent woman, and I didn't want to have to ask for a ride or allow them to give me a ride. But that's a whole nother story. But it was nice to just be a passenger. And it was also hilarious to be in the back seat of my parents' car after how many years. I felt like a kid again. It was weird. But it was nice that I didn't have to drive. I didn't have to be alert. If I was tired, I could just chill and have a driver. Let your friends and your family help with simple things like rides or cleaning or grocery pickup or bringing you a meal. You are going to be fatigued. Your body is fighting a war on the inside, and I have never experienced that much fatigue in my entire life. It is worse than getting COVID or the worst flu you can imagine. I mean, think about your sickest day and how tired you were, and then multiply that by like 10. It is insane how tired you're going to be. So lean on your friends and family. Let them help you. You're going to have a lot of people be like, oh, let me know if you need anything. But please reach out and let them support you. Don't try to do it all yourself. Steroids. Oh, it's such a double-edged sword. So they would give me steroids as my pre-meds. So if you haven't started chemo yet, a lot of times there are pre-meds. So when I get there, I check in, they access my port, and they do lab work. And once the lab work is cleared, saying that like my levels are good enough for chemo, they will give you pre-meds, and they are anti-nausea meds and steroids. And that is usually about a half hour before they would start my chemo. And the steroids, the Dex. At home, I was given a prescription, and depending on the chemo, I would usually take it for like 3 and sometimes 4 days at home after each chemo. and that will help with your energy levels, and you're going to need it because the fatigue is real, but there's a trade-off. You're going to get steroid flush, and it seems like nobody gets warned about that. It feels like you have a fever in your face, but it's not. If you take your temperature, you're going to show a normal reading. But for me, my cheeks would get really red. Sometimes it would travel down my chest, and it would just all be red and kind of inflamed looking. Being Asian, if I drink, my cheeks get really red, and that's how you can tell. It's very similar to the Asian flush, but it's steroid flush. It's absolutely common, but feel free to check in with your doctor if you are concerned. There are no stupid questions. Everything is new to you. You have no clue what's going on. You don't know what normal is and what's not. So reach out to your team. But you're going to get steroid flush. You're probably going to get roid rage. Roid rage is a real thing that nobody warned me about. And my poor husband learned to kind of tiptoe around me when I was in those grumpy moods. And I really did do my best to try not to take it out on anybody. If I knew I was feeling grumpy, I would disappear to the bedroom. That way I could be by myself, and the family knew to avoid me and leave me alone. Yeah, the roid rage is real. Thankfully, after a couple days of not taking the steroids, it does calm down, both the steroid flush and the roid rage. And then there's weight gain, thanks to the steroids. There's a really good possibility you might gain weight during chemo, and it's not because you're eating more or anything. It's probably just the steroids. So don't be hard on yourself. Eat what you can within moderation. Once I completed treatment, it's been slowly coming off. So go easy on yourself. Give yourself grace. Okay? All right. Stay tuned for the next one because I got more to share. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.